see the front of the race again. Just over a kilometre to go to the top of the Poggio, and Pogacar blasted off. Were we about to see the umpteenth exhibition already this season? Ganna followed him. Wout van Aert and Mathieu Van Der Poel had to work hard, and then it would be Van Der Poel over the top, on his way, opening up 5 seconds very quickly. It's perfectly, and Mathieu Van Der Poel was there to finish off the job. A look behind, a moment of disbelief, but knowing himself as he does, he'd better believe it. Mathieu Van Der Poel adding San Remo to his monument victories in Flanders. A second place finish in fantastic style for Pipo Ganna, who out-sprinted Wout van Aert. A fourth place to Pogacar after he'd given everything.
Pogacar keeps on assessing from behind. It's like a track sprint, but this is after 272 kilometres. Nerve-wracking moments. Nerves of steel from Pogacar, 500 metres, and they've almost come to a grinding halt. Dylan van Baarle is sensing an opportunity. Madouar is trying to close in. Kung may well take a fly yet from that position, as Dylan Toynes is chasing in the red. Van Der Poel's not just watching Pogacar now, he's also watching Valentin Madouar. Madouar is on. Dylan van Baarle is about to open up his sprints. Van Der Poel now goes early. Dylan van Baarle is in the sprints. Valentin Madouar is challenging. Van Der Poel is holding. Mathieu Van Der Poel, magnificent.
Now then, you questioned it. Does he have it? Are there the minerals there to respond? It doesn't look like it, but you never know with Mars Pedersen. He is making the change in acceleration, and he's doing his best to hold the wheel. But look at the acceleration from Van Der Poel. The crowd.
Another ascent of this brutal climb, and look at the gaps, the fissures that have opened up now. This race has detonated on the second ascent of the Quaremont. A brave ride by Oya Lescano, not looking for any assistance at all. Old school run. I tell you what, Dylan Toynes straight over the top as well. Jenny Vermeersch has found a second wind as well. The gap is actually closing now. Lescano is dragging back the world champ.
And while that happens, Mathieu Van Der Poel makes another move. The rest must chase, and those dreams have been ruined. Oh my word. He's stuck in the mud as well. And here is the gap, it's growing. This is like looking back to the 1980s. There's mud on the Koppenberg, and there's riders off their bikes behind having a walk. And the rest have got their foot on the ground. Mathieu Van Der Poel's there. This is Matteo Jorgensen. They're left, they're right. There's masses of crashes. It's like the famous 1980s ascents all put together again. The Koppenberg, with its classic nasty side on show today. It's Van Der Poel who is alone towards the top. 27 seconds to Jorgensen. A minute and 1 to the group we just saw. 1:29 from riders just starting the Timeberg. He has blown the race to smithereens. An acknowledgement of what he's just done. Yet another special performance. It's now 3 for Mathieu Van Der Poel, on his way to becoming a monument among monument winners. It's Van Der Poel on the line. Van Der Poel in a world class of his own. Matthews is there. Pollett's trying to come around him. There's Mozzato as well. It's Matthews all the way to the line. And look at that from Luca Mozzato. Cobblestone number 2 down and out for the win. He'll be back on his bike as well front of the race. But with 15.5 kilometres remaining, will not be losing the wheel. He'd also be losing the air in his back tyre. A puncture on Carrefour de l'Arbre, effectively ending his chances of winning the race and seeing Van Der Poel ride away solo. Van Der Poel was out in the front and tried to stay there. He'd be taking risks though. Keep it upright even though the risks were being taken. On the way to the velodrome, there was a final attempt to try and shake Jasper Philipsen. And in that velodrome, he finally realised what he'd done. And becoming just the 4th rider in history to win Paris-Roubaix and Milano-San Remo in the same season. Van der Poel victorious, and it will be a first 1-2 for a team in Paris-Roubaix for 22 long years. Not since the days of Domo van Vliet had that occurred. But Alpecin de Koning, or Alpecin Elegant as they were known on the day, put in an aggressive performance that saw Philipsen finish second, with Wout van Aert denied any sort of luck, having to settle for third place.
They're going to move on as soon as they can. And the decision of the commissars is to start the race again with the same gap as we had when it stopped. Riders arguing with each other, arguing with commissars. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. There, Van der Poel on the left, Jungels at the front, Turgis, Pustelberger and Benoot. The game is up for those behind. The winner is going to come from this group of five. Jungels to move them in. Van der Poel, remember, lit this up with a long, long way to go. Can he find it in a sprint and finish the job? But not on the right-hand side. Here goes Turgis. He's going to be the man to attack now with 350 metres to go. Turgis after 4 hours of racing. Behind him, Van der Poel in the Netherlands Champions jersey. And Van der Poel has the strength to come around. Look at Van der Poel go. Mathieu Van Der Poel. That is something special. Van der Poel has arrived.
Caught out of position just before his rival sailed up the road earlier. The two-time Tour champion was racing for the first time over the cobbles as a pro rider, but his power looked to be outweighing his inexperience as he closed the gap to 10 seconds. But that was as good as it got. He couldn't get any closer, and a few k's further down the road, he was caught by the main peloton and soon in the process. Benoot and Pidcock would later bridge across, then Van der Poel, and we were back to a group of 8. Campenart simply wouldn't. Was also in attendance, but at this point, Benoot did get a gap. Van der Poel was forced to chase behind him, and the other riders in the group all looked at each other. So, 2 riders out front with 1.5 k's remaining, and it would be those two who came into the closing finishing straights together to fight it out for the win. Van der Poel pushing it almost too hard on the final right-hand turn. He went with 250 metres still remaining. Benoot did the best that he possibly could, but he was no match for the Dutchman in the final sprint to the line. Win number 2 then for Mathieu Van der Poel in just 7 days of road racing this season. He's back, and he's going to be a force to be reckoned with this coming Sunday. Tom Pidcock took 3rd place on the podium, just ahead of Victor Campenart, who took 4th. Well, he took the win, but it clearly took a lot out of him. Mathieu Van der Poel taking his first.
Big attack from Mathieu Van der Poel as onto the lap, onto the wheel goes Wout van Aert. So Van der Poel has decided this is the point in the race where you need to keep it. And here comes the attack of Mathieu Van der Poel. Big acceleration by Van der Poel as he tries to get Betty. Oh, Van der Poel with a rocket attack. Here he goes, gritted teeth. Van der Poel is putting everybody in the shade as he's disappeared. Oh, crash of Van der Poel. Van der Poel crashes in that turn.
Gets up straight away.
He's going to get going.
He's broken the shoe.
And the shoe has gone. You can see how much he's shaking after that crash. Battle scarred, ripped. Van der Poel through the theatre of fans. What a spectacle we've had today. Now he starts to celebrate. Now he can calm down. Now he can start to drink in the feeling of being the world champion. This rider is class personified. He has ridden an incredible bike race from Edinburgh to Glasgow. A majestic performance, a majestic world champion. Victory for Van der Poel. He wins the world title in Glasgow. Van Aert is going to add another silver medal to his already silver medal a few years ago. It's Pedersen against Pogačar for the bronze, but it's going to be bronze for Pogačar. He beats Pedersen in a straight.